So good afternoon, Elizabeth. We have Mrs. Elizabeth Olubajo here. She's on our monthly spotlight. She was one of our top contributors in the OA&AA Ventures community in the month of January. So as part of our commitment in this new year, we said we're going to be having conversations and moving away from the silent years to us sharing and learning from one another. So, without much ado, Mrs. Elizabeth Olubajo, please, you have the floor. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, Sisi Denike. It's my pleasure to be in your group, and I'm happy that I get to know you. So, my name is Elizabeth Olubajo.
Mm.
I'm a wife, a mother, and I would like to say an entrepreneur, and I work as an
You can, you can say
manager.
so.
Pardon?
I said you can say so. You
So,
said we like you, I'm an entrepreneur. I said yes, you can say so.
okay. So, the journey is not easy, though. So last month, December, I chatted Sisi Denike up on a career path for me to have a clearer, to have clarification on my career. If I don't want to do this management accounting, how can I shift? And we had a good conversation. And she asked me, what do I think I can do? What talent do I think I can invest in? And I said, I have passion for teaching because before then, I have been praying that Holy Spirit should show me my talent because
Okay.
I
So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you short because we will still get to where you're going. I just wanted you to give us a quick background of yourself. So I'm going to redirect the question or ask the question again. So tell us about yourself, how you got to where you are today, your background, family background, educational background, marital
okay,
background. So let's build up. Let's build this. Let's build this up.
okay, okay. I am a third child. My father is late since 1988.
Oh,
So I was raised with a single mother. With the help
wow.
of God and some family members and friends that assisted. It's not easy. 7 children, I'm the third child. It's not always easy then. So growing up was like a battlefield.
Mm.
Fence. It's not just easy, I must tell you, because I passed through that place. If I see any child that is passing through that kind of upbringing, I don't really feel happy, but there's nothing I can do. If God called me to have something to do in that area, I believe I can do something, but it's not easy to be raised by a single mother and 7 children. So feeding was like, oh, it's a tug of war. But I thank God that stage has gone by. So I got married, hoping that as I was growing up, the next thing is marriage will be the solution. I never knew marriage was not the solution. It's another battle of its own.
Mm.
Growing up, I was like, because
Okay,
I was
I'm going to draw you back again because you are going faster than the way I was hoping. So can you give us
okay.
so now we understand that your dad was late, you were the third of 7 children, you were raised by a
Mm.
single mom. Tell us about your education.
My education, starting from my secondary school days, I used to work to finish my public school that I attended because to buy textbook, to do this, my mother will say she doesn't have money because she sells petty trade in Munshi market. So if I say this, I just have to start as early as possible to be doing something for myself to get money. I just thank God for the wisdom because I cannot sell my body. That one is a no for me. Then I do see some of my mates, they will be carrying. I was like, this is not for me. What's happening? Not that I have given my life to Christ that time, but then I saw it as not a normal thing. So I decided to work, do sales girl in the restaurant. Before the sales girl, I started selling fruits. I will
Again,
hawk.
I'm going to cut you short. Actually want you to
Okay.
just give us your educational background, primary school, secondary school. We are going to get
Okay.
to all these things you're saying, but I think
Okay.
so. Tell us, how was primary school,
Primary
secondary
school.
school? What university did you go to? Those types
I
of
went to
things.
Chokumbi Primary School. It's a public school. Then Igbo Secondary School. It's a public school too. Then my HND was in Lagos State Polytechnic Accounting.
Okay,
So I did the accounting in Lagos State Polytechnic.
okay.
So all the
So
while I work and go to school, work, go to school.
okay, so anyway, I'm just going to take you to the. You are taking us to the next part of the question. So, your mom was a single mom, and you basically
Yes,
had to put yourself through education. So if you
yes.
had the opportunity to go back and fix anything, or if, for example, someone became the governor or the president and asked you, how do you think people, organizations, governments can intervene for children of single parents or children who are at risk? Basically, it's because in some cases they have both parents, but they really are living below the poverty line. What do you think? What would, in your opinion, what do you think would be the most effective way for individuals, governments, organizations to be able to intervene in such families? What are the things you would, if you were, maybe if you were president of World Bank, what are the things, what initiatives do you think will give the most value to such children and such families? Is it
It's
feeding them
education. The
or
thing I
paying
will do for is to educate them because such children or just family, they still need education in the
okay?
sense that
I'm listening.
I said they need education, like the mother, because my mom was like she's a cultured woman. She's a cultured woman, where I would say, because she was not born again as at that time, but she was a cultured woman that said, no, there is so many immorality happening. I don't like you people to join the trend of what is happening. So if parents, and why some parents will even encourage their children to be wayward. So in that kind of situation, the parents still need education. But if they know that this is not morally good, they will not support the children. And if they know that since it's not morally good, they know it's not morally good, but they still supported the children to be wayward. If the child is a girl, they will go after men and sell her body. And if the child is a boy, they will encourage him to go into dubious business. So that kind of environment, they still need education in the side of the parents and education in the side of the children as well.
So there's this. Thank you very much. So there's this thing that people I think began to speak up against. You have some maybe young ladies in particular that would
Mm,
come and tell you that maybe they met you online or something, and they come and they tell
mm,
you their story. I'm not able to go to school. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then they
mm.
now ask this point of, I don't want to sell my body. Please help me because I don't want to sell my body. I know some people will go like, what's my own? Go and sell your body. Why are you putting me under pressure? How would you, how would, I would like to have your take on that. Do you think that people should jump into interviewing for people because
I
they
will
don't
not
want
jump
to
into
sell their body?
conclusion with saying I will still need to do investigation because so many people has come in that trend in the name of help, but they are dubious.
Hmm.
They are dubious
Okay.
because I've met so many of that come. I don't know how they will get my WhatsApp number. Maybe they will get it in a group, or once they will just come to my DM in Facebook. They begin to tell me story like one I could remember very well. It's a guy himself, 2020, 2016, no, 2019, 2020. So he was a guy was like, he's in the sea, he's a what's these people that used to pilot and ship. That's the work he does. He has a daughter. He sent me the picture. He has a mother. the mother of the girl, blah, blah, he was telling me story that at the bottom line that he needs money for them to buy gas. I was like, is there no more account need to send money to the account for? He said he cannot send you, but you since you cannot send them money, but you are chatting me online. Is there no app? To, it was like I was like no, because the more he tells me, I was trying to get the truth. He was so I need to investigate before I involve myself in that kind of situation. So I need to investigate before I help her because so many people have come in that trend in the name of help, but they are dubious
You
in
don't want to
nature.
tell me. Okay, so thank you very much for that. I also, since you mentioned something that is leading me into my next question, which is about
Mm,
that maybe sometimes the way people get your contact is, for example, they're in a group and then they now send a DM. So, we've also seen some instances where people, they stay silent, they don't even contribute anything in the group at all. But then
mm,
we get feedback that they've been sending DMs to people asking them particularly for money or for help.
mm.
If you found yourself as the admin of such a group and such a report came to you, how would you manage that?
I will first of all tell my group member before they give out their hard-earned money to investigate. Because it's not easily if you help and find out that the person is dubious, because it will not end in one person. That's one thing about these people. It will not end with one person. If they see that one person falls in, they will continue until almost everybody in that group is duped, and that will not be a good thing. I will post it on the group. Before you give out your money, investigate, or even let me know if it's a thing that if the person really needs money, and I will investigate the person as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to move on quickly to okay, so we've gotten into your polytechnic, you studied management accounting. How did you make the decision that you were going to study management accounting?
Oh, I didn't. It was education I wanted to go for. So when I did my first jam, it was withheld. The second one withheld. The third one withheld. The same education. I said, maybe God has seen that I do not have somebody that will sponsor my education. So let me go and do part time and be working so that I will sponsor my education. That is how I time it to be. So, and I started my friend. We were working as a teacher then. He now said, there is a form for a part-time form, Lagos State Polytechnic. If I have interest to for the this this one not be, I will have interest. Let me just upgrade myself from secondary school. That's how I found myself in doing this accounting stuff.
Okay, so we are still going to come back to this. So I also want to ask you, so we'll come back, but since you already got a job before you started working, I'm then going to ask you, how did you get your first job? Well, tell us the story.
My first job, is it in accounting or in teaching?
Your first job ever. You can also
Okay, my
tell us
first job
about the one
ever.
about the accounting, or how did you get your first job?
My first job ever was working in a restaurant during my after my GSS 3 junior WAEC. I told my mom, I will not stay with you to sell your petty trade because I know it's not bringing out much. I can do something. Maybe I continue to work or I do something, but I would prefer to work in a restaurant that after the 2 months, so that I can come back to school with whatever I have, so that that first year, the buying of books will not be soon. She said, okay. So she now got contacted her friend that has a friend running a restaurant. That's how I started my first job as a sales
Wow.
girl in a restaurant. So after the GS 3 stuff, she even loved me the way I do, as if I've been doing the job. She loved the way I do carry myself, and she want me never to go outside her instruction because that place is like a club. So we have more opposite sex, and they want more children they can divorce. And she always told me, want me to always stay by her side, and I love her for that. She did protected me because she knows that that time I was very young. So after
Oh,
my the GS 3, I told her, can I be coming for the Friday because Friday we close 1 o'clock. Then Saturday, she said, I can come now, no problem. And she will give me stipend. And that is the stipend that makes me to go so that I can see something to run the week
Mm.
for school. That's how I
Mm.
did my job. Then after my GSS3, I tried to work with her so that just to show appreciation that she really supported my secondary school. She really did.
Education.
So after working for her for like 6 months, I started developing chest pain.
Mm.
The pain was so severe. She took me to hospital. She did her best, but the pain still continued. So there was just little misunderstanding between the two of us. I sent my apology and I told my mom that I'm no more going to that office, that my spirit is no more working in that restaurant of hotel. She now asked me, what will I do? I said, if I see a teaching job, I will be okay. She said, are you sure? I said, yes. So immediately I left that job, that chest pain left me as if a burden left my chest. As I observed, I said, mommy, this my chest pain has gone. Oh, it's like that job is not meant for me because we used to carry plates. No restaurant, how it's run now. Plates
Mm.
all the time, carry plates, carry this one. I said, maybe that job is not meant for me. So that's how I quit the restaurant job. Then teaching. So in the quest for that, I have left that place. Let me just have my peace. My aunt, I will not say my aunt direct because she's my mom's cousin.
Okay.
She's my grandmother's daughter.
Your grandmother's daughter. Wow.
Sister's
How old is
daughter.
your mom? Okay, your
It's my
grandmother's
cousin.
sister. Okay. Okay, your mom's cousin. So she's your second
Yes,
cousin.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. So we just saw the advert, teacher. Because my mom told her that I'm looking for a job if it's teacher, because I told her if it's teacher, I can use my secondary school. She then saw the advert beside her house that they are in need of a teacher. I went, I submit, they employed me. I was like, it's like these people are waiting for me to come already. And the
Right.
proprietor loved me. She said, ah, did I do NC? I said, no, I didn't. He said, and you have class management, you this, you that. I said, what she even saying? I don't even understand. It was later, very long, I understand that there is class coordination, there is this. I said, I don't even know the term she was using. I said, okay. She loved me. At least I worked for some years with her, but she did something that annoys me. She's this type that she loves eye service, and I don't like it. Any teacher that
Okay.
goes to her to report, she
Okay.
will. I
I'm
left
going
that
to cut
one.
you. I'm going to cut you short there because we want to spread the positivity. So we don't want to go too deeply into the things that they did not really like. But
Oh,
I do respect it. I respect that you have that. But as much as possible, I want to pull some lessons out of what you've shared so far before we go. So you see, for the
okay.
first job, you spoke with your mom, right? And your mom
Mm,
more or less did the connection, right?
yes.
She gave you the connection. The second job, you spoke with your mom spoke with her cousin, and then it just
Mm,
happened her cousin had knew some got saw the advert. And I just wanted
mm,
to highlight there that many times people are expecting that something would drop on their laps and they didn't. Yes, you prayed, but sometimes when after you prayed, God will lead you to share with somebody or tell somebody something. And then
yes.
you know, because it's possible that that advert had been there for so long and your aunt, well, your cousin, your mom's cousin, who is also your second cousin, she probably had been
Mm,
passing by and she didn't see it until so you let her know you were looking for something, and then she began to pay more attention, and then these things
oh,
come around because many times people say, oh, there are no opportunities,
mm,
nobody is giving but anybody. But what I've realized as a person is that most times when people reach out to me and say, oh, I'm
mm,
looking for ABCD, I may
mm,
never in my life have come across ABCD, but it could
mm.
be that next day after they told me I'm looking for ABCD, next
Yes.
thing I begin to see it everywhere. And then these days that our systems are listening to our conversations, you start seeing adverts about so 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 and so. So why am I saying that?
Yes.
I want to say that a closed mouth, they say, is a closed destiny. But I do also want
Exactly.
to add the caveat that you don't just go speaking, and because there are some places you should not speak, that God will tell you to keep quiet. just the way
Mm.
that Esther was not supposed to reveal her nationality until a particular time. So we still need to be sensitive. But many times, many of the things that we are trusting God for, they are voice activated. God will nudge you to tell somebody something. So don't when you have that release, please share. Don't let
Okay.
don't don't let everything that you have said, that we've heard and said, don't let it stop you from what you're supposed to be, the opportunities you're supposed to be getting. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to you, sis, and I will ask you. So let's continue with. So we've told us about your second job, which was teaching. So let's just fast forward to your first accounting job because you graduated with the ND, right? In accounting.
Yes. So that when I was teaching, this my colleague told me about the ND stuff. So I left the teaching, then I have gotten my OND. So I left the teaching job. A month after or thereabout, I got a job in an audit firm.
Okay, so how did you get the job? I want us to break it down so that because many
It
times you just hear people say, "Oh, I
it's
went to."
that
How did
audit
you get
firm.
it? Yeah.
The audit firm, the owner
Yes.
was in my church member. So I was
Okay.
discussing with a brother that we were in the same group that I'm looking
Mhm.
for a job. I have ONG account. Say, there is one man who is an auditor. He has an audit firm. He's looking for staff, and he even needs a OND holder. I say, it will be good since all of us are the same church member. Let me said, okay, he will talk to the person that told him about the information first. So he now
Mhm.
took me, he said on Sunday after Mass, he now took me up to the man that told him about, because he didn't know the person directly. He now said, this is the lady. Okay, the man now said, okay, I should wait that the man, the owner of the audit firm is around, that I should wait. So when he saw me, he said, obìnrin ló tún mú wá fún mi ni, ọkùnrin mo sọ. I was like confused.
Okay.
He now told
To translate for those who may be listening that don't understand Yoruba, obìnrin ló
okay.
tún wá fún
So,
mi, ọkùnrin ni mò ń wá
don't
means
know
you
what
brought a
is what I
woman.
did was,
Mhm.
is it I requested for a male staff. You are bringing a female staff. You know, I don't like working with a female staff. He
Mhm.
now the man just paused. He said he should lower his voice. He said, okay, that this one you have collected this one. This one is my own child. Oh. And funny enough, I don't know the man. He said, this one, you will collect this one. It's my own child. You will collect this one. He said, okay, okay. Said he now gave me his phone number and the office address that I should come and meet him in the office to discuss the job proper. The following day, it was Monday, so I went to see him. That was how I got my first accounting job. So I spent
Wow.
a quite number of years with him, that audit
Wow.
job, and learned so many things about the job, the accounting job. So he
Thank
taught me so many things, so many things.
you. Thank you for
So
sharing this. I'll come back to it. I just wanted to also point something out as well for anyone listening. You see,
uh,
it still keeps going to relationships because, particularly for these generations, this younger generation, they just feel like you can treat people anyhow and you can do
no,
anything you like with but relationships will take you further than because
yes,
they feel like it's all about what you know. But how are you even going to get into the door? See what he said. He said he wanted a meal, but because of relationship, the
yes,
other person said, "This one is my daughter. You will collect her." And also
yes,
to highlight to some of the women out there that we always feel like it's a gender war, it's us against them. These are men that helped you in, right? You talked about the
mm,
colleague that told you about the NC. It was a man, right?
yes,
Now, the person that helped you with getting your first accounting job was male as well, right? Because
yes,
I keep seeing people go like, in fact, I read a post maybe 2 days ago where the lady was saying that, oh, the way women can protect themselves in this day and age is to have money and basically, and so she said something that really, really did not sit well with me. That the cure for misogyny is misandry. For those that don't know the meaning of misogyny and misandry, Misogyny means that you believe that men rule the world and everything should be about men. Misandry means that you believe that women rule the world and everything should be about women. So she was saying that the solution to the misogyny is misandry. I don't believe that. I believe that both misogyny and misandry are the abnormal conditions. God created
Yes.
us male and female, and so He expects us to work together on this earth. Some other guy said it's a women's world. Somebody said it's a man's world. No, it is God's world. We are all
It's
here
God's fault.
to serve God, to do God's will in His world. And so the reason why I was sharing that now, I cast my mind back to a couple of years ago when I was supposed to go for a site visit. That's offshore Nigeria. And so
Mm.
it was going to be my first time of going offshore Nigeria. And
Okay.
of course, I was a very young engineer, and they had everything all set up, and then suddenly, the person that more or less made it happen was our client rep, who is male, and so he was the one that was like, "Oh, I really need to go offshore and get experience that way." So I went. So the plan was I was supposed to go, and then suddenly some manager comes to me and tells me that, oh, because of bed space and all of that, that they won't be able to I won't be able to go. And so I just took it that, okay, that's this, I'm not going. But this client rep, he's male and he's very passionate
Mm.
about women empowerment. So he by himself, I think I'd want to see him for something else. So he was asking me that how am I preparing for my offshore visit? So I told him that they told me I'm not going now, that they were not able to get a bed space for me. The way he flared up, got so upset. And then he went to tell them that if they are not taking me there, that nobody will go, that they had better find a way to make sure that I'm part of that team. And like
Hey.
that, because obviously there was no way I could have spoken up for myself. And like that,
Yes.
that's how. And of course, my manager at the time was also male. So we both, the client rep and my manager, they both made so much trouble that they had to find a way to make me go. And so, I always think about that and other opportunities that men who were not asking to sleep with me or anything, have put their necks
Mm.
on the line for me. So I always struggle when we make it a men versus women thing. I just wanted to highlight that as well in the story that you shared with us concerning this
Mm.
job. So that say the story you wanted to hide bit of when I got my first job. The answer is usually in these stories. And I was telling you that people will be able to connect when I can come and say, oh, make sure you have good relationships with people. But if
Mm.
I come and I tell you this type of story, then I end it with make sure that you keep uh, good relationships. Which one do you think will stick more? Mm.
Having good relationship with people.
No. So the two of them are ending with have good relationship with people. But the first one, I just write a 160 word character post, have good relationship with people. The second one, I tell a story similar to the story you just shared. Then I end it
Yes.
with moral of the story, have good relationships with people. Which one do you think people would connect more with?
The one with story.
Exactly, because that's the way we are connected. So that's why I'm making you go deep and telling us the story because it is important. We are not just going to
Okay.
summarize. We have time.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
in it like that. Eh?
Okay. No problem.
We're in a hurry, but we are not in that much of a hurry. We want to hear the full gist. So now let's move from your accounting job, which I assume you got post graduation. So,
Mm.
how has it been in the workplace? Uh, have you felt like there were opportunities that you did not get because of your gender or because you have an ND versus H? I know there's this HND versus BSc thing that has been going on. So, tell us, how has that impacted your career so far?
At least the audit firm I worked, I didn't really have any tussle with that because most audit firms, they prefer HND because I asked my boss this HND blah blah blah. Although he has BS economics, he did chartered with ICANN. So that's how he got. So it was like it should not be a problem because most of them they still want that HND of a thing. I didn't really have
Mm,
a tussle with Chow. Just that it was me that was slow to my own growth. I
mm,
was slow to my own growth. Let me just put it that way. Because I didn't wake up
mm,
on time that I had so many opportunities that I can explore in that accounting world that I did
mm.
not explore because my boss really did push me. I was so sluggish for me to wake up to that is push. So that is what I would say. I didn't really have any thoughts about it. Just that I was slow to my own growth to grab the opportunities there.
I like your honesty in the sense that, many times people will come and say, oh, it's because they didn't like me. That's why they did not promote. I
No,
like that you are
no,
owning that
no.
part. So, if now that you have the knowledge that you have, and so assuming you had someone working with you that was exhibiting or that is exhibiting similar traits to what you were
Mm,
exhibiting before you woke up, how would you recommend that a manager manages such a person? What can be done to help people come out of whatever it is? Because in some cases, for some people, it could be a
mm,
self-esteem issue. They don't see themselves as being anything. They are just running through the motions. And you that you're
mm,
looking, you're like, my guy, sharp up. You can do this and all. So, as particularly for people who are, say, high flyers, who are used to being self-starters, and so they expect that you should be able to keep up now, match up. How would you recommend that such a manager deals with someone who is not so much of a self-starter, who needs some push? Where do you draw the line? How do I push without becoming too bossy, without micromanaging the person as a manager? What would you recommend?
As if I'm the manager, right?
Yes, you are the manager in this case now, and you have someone who
Um,
is behaving the way you were behaving until
I
you
will
woke up.
still, I will take the pattern of that my boss in audit firm because he
So
will
share with
call
us.
me, he will sit me down, he will tell me, Elizabeth, you are very intelligent. You know this job. You know this thing. Why can't you do this thing? Get this certification. You can do it. And as I then, I would tell him, no money, no this. He said, no, money is not the issue. Number one, your mindset first, your determination goes a long way before money comes in. I will text, call the person. I will make sure I get familiar with the person for me to know who the person is, its kind of mindset. Then I will now put in my advice.
So if I hear you correctly, you basically are
Mm.
recommending that the manager should more or less take the position of a coach for such a person, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is that it's a bit funny, but when you're working in an environment that is a high pressure
I,
environment. I assume that the audit office is like my engineering office, where you have schedules, you have the promise some deliverables at a particular time,
yes, yes,
and the person who
yes.
is supposed to be working on it is relatively sluggish. And you know that you are talking about, as we are talking about this, I find it interesting because just last week, we were having a
Mm,
conversation in my, no, sorry, this week we were having a conversation within my team at work, and we're talking about somebody, and someone was saying that she doesn't have time to be teaching somebody on the job and all, and so that was why she was like she's not comfortable with using that person. And I have said that, in fact, yesterday I was telling someone that I was working with, I cannot believe how patient I have become, because I used to be so like, guys, sharp up, we need to come with our A game and all of that. But
mm,
I was surprised that I can actually be patient and be talking someone through and be telling the person this is what you should do. And I'm like, who is this person? And all of that. And I can tell you for sure that those are things that used to irritate me. I used to get irritated by people that, you're telling stuff and you have to tell them the same thing 15 times. It
Ah,
really used to grate on my nerves. And and now here I am with God's help, of course. And what I realized then was that when you are dealing with your own personal issues, you haven't allowed God work in you. You will be
yes,
abrasive to other people. You will be
exactly.
short-tempered. But so many times the people who are the managers, they
Hmm.
I think the point is that they are not yet fully cooked. And so, and in
Ex-
some other cases, some of the managers, I realized that that was part of what was my own challenge as well. I wasn't really secure. I felt, and for me, because I was also looking at somebody will be looking at, they don't want, that's why they don't like to employ females. So, I had all of that emotional baggage that I want to do so well so that they will not say that it's because I'm female.
As
And
a
no, so, I
female.
found myself under that pressure of trying to make sure that nobody says it's because I am so, 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 and so, until God
Okay.
broke me and He gave me a job. That the reason why I got the job was because I was female. So, I couldn't come back with all those, let them not say it's because I'm female, because there's a particular job that God made sure I got, that the only reason why I got the job was because I was female. So it broke something
That
it broke part of those hard parts of me that I was trying to prove that what a man can do, a woman can do better. God God took his time and made sure that I got a job, that the only reason why I got that job was because I was female. And every day I was
wow.
always reminded that I was female because I was in the midst of hundreds or so men. So there was no
Oh,
way I
wow.
could deny being female. So,
Okay.
know, so I realized that for many, but although sometimes, so I think where I'm going with this is that I think it needs to be a give and take, because sometimes the manager, it's not because they're trying to be mean, but there's a schedule that needs to be met up with. And there's someone that, on one hand, you're expected to give everybody at least, in quotes, equal work, right?
Yes.
And also you
Yes.
see the person who is more or less like a high flyer. You give him the same
Mm.
amount of work as person B, who is not so much of a high flyer. And so the high flyer
Yes.
finishes his or her job in like half of the time. So
Mm.
the general temptation is to then take the work from person B and give it to
Yes.
person A, because person A is going to finish it on time,
Finish.
right?
Mm.
But after some time, person A begins to feel like, well, I'm the only one doing any work in this office. And the person begins to resent person B, whom you have to spend so much time and so much coaching. And on the average, people don't want to spend all of that time coaching anything. They want to use their time to do something else. And so we now get to the point where person B, well, there are two things that could happen with person B. For some people, they will go like, well, as long as they're paying me my salary, it doesn't concern me. If they like, they give me work. If they like, they don't give me work. But there's also the other possibility of person B beginning to feel useless, which then makes them even more sluggish. And so it now begins to affect the team dynamic. So I think that's really where my question is. How would a manager that has person A who is a high flyer and person B who is not so sharp, in quotes, how would the manager maintain a good balance so
Mm.
that person A does not feel like he or she is carrying all the load and person B does not feel useless?
That's,
How
it's
would you
not useful.
recommend? Yes.
Eh, This
How would you
one, now Holy
recommend?
Spirit I go come, because since I've
Mm,
been working with Holy Spirit, He doesn't give me fake approach to deal with woman. But I still
mm,
need my own. I was, to be sincere, before now, I will not work
mm,
with the person B, because me too,
mm,
I'm an impatient person, very
mm,
impatient. But
mm,
sometimes I can be very patient that if I say that the person is not forthcoming, I will do the job for me to meet up
mm,
my target. Let me use my
mm,
audit. The time I was in the audit firm, when I was
mm,
the audit lead. So there are some persons I will tell them. Sometimes I will shout. I will say, "You are too slow to my liking, oh. If you do not meet up with this thing, I will not. I will not give you job again." And you know what it means before boss. Sometimes they will sit up. I know that I meant it. And after the job, after the job, we've submitted our reports, everything. I'll now tell the person, you see, not that I don't like you, but your person is the way you carry yourself is what I don't like. If there is anything that we need to do urgently, we need to put all our best to get it done fast. And any other thing can come up, we can become sluggish. But at that time, we are doing the job. Let us do our best. But that was then. But now, I will ask Holy Spirit, how best do you want me to manage this, your son or daughter? Because that's what Holy Spirit told me some times ago, that everybody is his own. Nobody
Mm,
is not his own. That's so I will
mm.
just say, Holy Spirit, I have come with this, your daughter. Mention the person name or son. How best do you want me to manage this, your son or child? And how
Mm.
best do you want me to talk to the person so that the person will understand and improve to the standard of the organization?
Thank you for sharing this. You just reminded me of one of the. I think I was telling you about the client rep that I had then, and at some point, the Holy Spirit told me that you see what he gave me a strategy that by the time I'm going into his office, I should just spend some time to pray before going. And it got
Mm.
to the point where it seemed like everybody that had anything to do with him, they would always try to make me be the one to go and talk to him. Because God gave me so much favor with him that because he
Yeah.
wasn't an easy person to work with. And so, everyone was surprised that he
That you were
would have
able.
that level of relationship with him. We got to the point where he got the relationship where I would get to his office. I would tell him that, see, this your desktop is too disorganized. Let me help you organize it. And I organize his desktop and he'll go like, oh, thank you. And I realized I think he didn't have a daughter. And so he kind of like made me his daughter. So it made me understand why he was so passionate about women's issues, although sometimes it doesn't work that way. But in his own case, I think because he desired a daughter so much, every of the ladies that were brought to him by God, he took us as his daughters. And also, I
Yeah.
will go to his office, we'll gist. So if I'm going to go and talk to him about work, I don't go in immediately and start talking about work. I will first of
Okay.
all sit with him. And I would say that that's perhaps how I would also manage that kind of situation with the person A and person B. We first of all get to
Mm.
know them. And by the time you get them to have a sense of ownership and belonging in the
Mm.
organization, where it's not just that every day God will just come, just drop work. That was one of the things that God began to highlight to me. That by the time you begin to know the person, then the people feel so committed. They really, really want the organization to succeed because
Mm.
they like the people they work with. Most of the times, the reason why people behave the way they behave is that for them it's just a job. They don't feel connected.
Just a
They
job.
don't
Yes.
they don't feel like they are part of a family.
Yeah.
I don't believe that work is your family in that sense, but they don't feel like, oh, this is a place where I belong, where
Yeah.
everybody actually cares about me. And there's also, so even if I die tomorrow, nobody will care. They will replace me. But when you are able to get people to care about the kind of work they do, when you're able to give them. So, for example, there was a time when I got a report, and as I was going through the report, I was like, "Who is the person that even wrote this report?" I was going to start criticizing, and then
Mm.
somehow I just said, "Let me go and check who originated and who checked and who approved the report." Lo and behold, I was the originator like 10 years ago. Yes. So by the time I started having those types of encounters, it began to soften me because I was like, so you can imagine that you would have been so impatient with yourself
Before.
10 years before.
Wow.
No. I know. So by the time I've had those types of encounters, I've now learned that you can't just go like, oh, everybody is useless. Because it's the same
Oh,
me like coming 10 years later and I'm able to find things I could have done better, right? So which means
yes.
there's hope for the other person that in 5 years or 10 years. And I also had an experience where, so this young man, when he came to work with us, there was a time my boss caught him watching TV, watching a movie at work. So, he was that kind of person that we were like, this one, he just came to occupy space. We felt he
Mm.
was slow and all that. And so that was the way we related with him for a long time. But then there was a time, and well, I guess for justifiable reason, it wasn't like we were just picking on him. So we did
Mm.
not give him, we didn't used to give him heavy work. We just give him
Yeah.
something to keep him
Something
busy, kind
busy.
of work. But there was a time he came to me, and he told me that he actually wants to catch up. He wants to be useful. So he kind of
Yeah.
told me, he came to me and he asked me for mentorship. So I told him that me, I'm not an easy person, but I will mentor you if you are willing to stay in the
Good
kitchen. And
learn.
he said, yes, he is. And, by the time I began to talk to him, I realized he's not dull. He's able
It's
to
not.
capture, get all of these things. It was just that because maybe whatever was happening in his life, he had already just resigned himself to whatever
So
will be. Anyhow, for as long as I
that
sit for 8 hours, they will pay me. But when he
mm,
decided that he wanted to do more with himself, and I began to
mm,
give him tasks, and it got to the point where he became my assistant on a project, and I could leave work
wow.
with him, and I would be okay. And I
Mm,
heard something later about that if you want to start delegating to people, you have to spend some time, first of all, to train them. But when
mm,
you spend the time you spend training people on how to do things, that it is
mm.
multiplied to you in maybe whether it's 300 times or something, by the time you calculate how much time you would
Yes.
have saved once they start doing the tasks. And so
Mm,
I was like, wow, that's a lot because every one of us could do with an extra pair of hands every day. And so, if we can just devote a bit of time to teaching, then the people we teach will. And I like your point about allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you because we can go with all of the strategies and all of the strategies, but you can apply strategies that worked with person A and they will not work with person B. So I like what you
yes.
said about ask the Holy Spirit to tell you which of these many tools that are there can I use for this your child that you are the one that formed him or her, so their intricate parts. Okay, so we'll soon be bringing this session to a close. I'm going to ask you, what would you, if you had the opportunity to speak to your younger self, what are the things that you would tell her to look out for? What are the things you would tell her are the most important things that she should make sure that she doesn't go through?
If I have the opportunity, it's growth. I will tell my younger self to wake up to growth as early as possible.
Mm.
Early as possible, maybe from secondary school, because I know I started working for myself, working. I should wake up to growth because very, very important. And knowing God as early as possible as well. Those two things go hand in hand. Holy Spirit and growth. These two things. So that's what I will advise my younger self to get to know very, very quick in life.
Okay. So do you have any last words for us?
I don't have anything, but I will just say to God be the glory where I am today because my growth was very slow. Maybe because of my background, but I say to God be the glory. And any other woman or man or person or child of God, however we see ourselves, should just know that growth is very essential in every stage of life. Growth. And the Holy Spirit, number one, because without God, every other thing is not in line. But with God, all things are possible. So growth
Okay.
and Holy Spirit.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you're
Thank you.
listening to this, you should join our OA and AA Ventures community. The links will be in the caption for all our different platforms. Thank you once
Okay.
again.
I'm unable to join March growth. Waiting happen. March challenge growth. The
That's
link.
not the that's not the link, that's not the place you went to. I think you went to the other place, but I'll add you.
Uh,
Anyway, thank you
okay.
for bringing this up. So we are going again with our March growth challenge on the we are starting from 1st of March. So please The link will also be in the caption. I will send you the link, Mrs. Olubajo, the correct link.
Okay, ma. Thank you very much.
You're
Enjoy the
welcome.
rest
Thank
of
you.
your day.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for your time. And I'll end this call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.